BlogTalkRadio is an internet-based social broadcasting system. They claim to have millions of listeners and allow users to set up and host their own call-in radio talk shows on the internet. There are literally thousands of such programs in dozens of categories, including, of course, news and politics. But one such program, The Angry Scotsman, was recently kicked off of the BlogTalkRadio network and had all of its previous episodes deleted from the archives for planning an episode that dared to question the official 9/11 fairy tale. When the BlogTalkRadio censors found out that the Angry Scotsman program was planning an episode detailing and documenting some of the numerous important questions that still remain about this, the most fundamental political event of our time, the host, Brian McLean, was contacted by a member of the BlogTalkRadio staff and told that he was not allowed to go ahead with the program. When Mr. McLean objected to the censorship and insisted that he would go ahead with the program as scheduled, BlogTalkRadio pulled his profile off their website immediately, thus deleting all access to all of his previous episodes. The Corbett Report recently interviewed Brian McLean and asked him about the conversation that he had with the BlogTalkRadio censor.
Essentially, what he told me was, he asked me what I intended to do with the show, and I said it was going to be an in-depth look at 9/11. And he told me, well, we've looked over your profile, and we've listened to your other episodes, and we do not want this type of material to be distributed out of Blog Talk Radio. And I then asked him what type of material that he found questionable, just to try and narrow it down, and he stated that he didn't want conspiracy theories on the show. He didn't want conspiracy theories coming out of Blog Talk Radio.
It's unclear what conspiracy theories the BlogTalkRadio censors were referring to. Is it the conspiracy theory that the most sophisticated penetration of the most heavily defended airspace in the world could not have taken place 4 times on a single day without the aid of certain well-placed U.S. military, government, industrial, and intelligence officials? If so, this is the conspiracy theory advocated by such known lunatics as the former German defense minister.
And the fourth version is they organized it or were part of organizing it. And the way it happened is so strange, and the unwillingness of the administration to clear up all the environment is so strong that I've finally come to the belief that it must be a steered operation, covert operation. Yeah.
The former head of the Star Wars missile defense program, Dr. Robert Bowman.
But there's a second group of facts having to do with the cover-up. And, you know, these are a whole bunch of things like the confiscation of the surveillance tapes of the impact on the Pentagon, the confiscation of the air traffic control voice tapes. It goes on and on and on. Taken together, these things prove that high levels of our government don't want us to know what happened and who is responsible.
Arizona State Senator Karen Johnson.
Beside the fact that there's so many unanswered questions out there, you know, and that's kind of what I said, and I went ahead when I explained my vote to say that, you know, there's many unanswered questions yet regarding 9/11, and there never ever would have even been a commission been called for by Mr. Bush and the federal government if it hadn't been for the Jersey girls.
The pilot who previously flew 2 of the planes actually used in the 9/11 attacks.
I don't believe it's possible for, like I said, for a terrorist, a so-called terrorist, to train on a 172, then jump in the cockpit of a 757, 767 class cockpit, and vertical navigate the aircraft, lateral navigate the aircraft, and fly the airplane at speeds exceeding its design limit speed by well over 100 knots, make high-speed, high-bank turns, pulling probably 5, 6, 7 Gs, and the aircraft would literally fall out of the sky. I couldn't do it, and I'm absolutely positive they couldn't do it.
As well as literally hundreds of other military, government, and intelligence officials, architects, engineers, physicists, celebrities, and 9/11 victims' family members. Perhaps Blog Talk Radio, like many other businesses, are simply protecting their bottom line, concerned by how such programs might affect their ability to attract advertisers. Of course, Blog Talk Radio could not exist without the listeners, however. Concerned citizens, therefore, are encouraged to visit Blog Talk Radio and contact them directly to let them know how they feel about such censorship.